What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
James Shu, how are you?
.com, and we have two huge movies this week.
It's probably the most anticipated movie of the year right here. One of them, at least. I mean, I would say top. Christopher Nolan's new film, Interstellar. And last week I said that this Nightcrawler's the last movie I've seen with no trailers. Actually, that's not true. Interstellar, I haven't watched any trailers either, so I haven't had the anticipation as much as everyone else has. So what are you expecting out of Interstellar tonight?
You know what's great about Christopher Nolan films is he keeps it so under wraps, and I don't know if he has his actors, they literally don't say anything either. Like, literally everything's always under wraps.
Not like Idris Elba.
Yeah, I know, in Age of Ultron too, but yeah, I don't know. You know, Christopher Nolan hasn't done me wrong for the past 4 films, so the past decade of films, basically, he hasn't done me wrong. I loved all the Dark Knights. I loved Inception. That I told you that made it my top 10 of all time, maybe even top 5 for all I know. But we're gonna go to space. We have Catwoman.
I would hope so. That'd be really disappointing if we never went to space in this movie. Yeah, like, just never got off the ground.
It's a longer film, but.
Yeah, but that's not long for Nolan. Nolan's usually at that 240 mark, 250 mark, easy. You know, Batman, I think Dark Knight Rises was at like 245, 250. Inception was easily over like around 3 hours. We also, on the other side of the spectrum, have the first Disney animated Marvel-based film, Big Hero 6, which is based off a comic from the late 90s, and not very popular, but I think it's a good idea to use that for an animated film. So are you expecting anything out of that one?
You know, it looks great. I actually, unfortunately, don't get to watch it because tonight I'm watching Interstellar. No one's going to stop me from that, but I'm going to catch it on tomorrow, Friday, AMC Town Square, 11 o'clock. And then, but, you know, yeah, you can do your part, and I know that we have... and
I'll talk about it, and then me and you will be reviewing it, both films, way more in depth than the video review in our
Sunday.
Podcast. Yeah, so make sure to check that out. All right, so 3 hours, you ready?
All right, I'm ready. All right, so we just got out Big Hero 6 first.
So Big Hero 6 I thought was a wonderful movie. I thought it was just such a genuine flick. It's one of those movies that are just going to put a big smile on your face. You have Baymax, the big inflatable gentle giant who, you know, everyone's just going to love. I'm sure he's going to fill up toy stores all season long. Just a really fun movie. I mean, beautiful animation. I think all the characters were really interesting and fun. And I saw this in a pre-screening full of children, and no one was crying or talking. These kids were in it, so I really enjoyed this movie. However, the only kind of criticism that I have is I don't think it goes as deep as most kind of Disney films do. I think, granted, there is some really tragic stuff going on. I mean, there's like a real tragic event in the movie, but it still kind of tends to pad it rather than actually go really deep, like as How to Train Your Dragon 2, which I thought really kind of went in there and I liked. But still, Big Hero 6 was really, really fun. I think it's a great, great ride. And, you know, Disney's back on point.
I forgot to ask you, was Frozen better or Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, I like Frozen better than Wreck-It Ralph.
Is this better than Frozen?
No. No, unfortunately, I don't think Big Hero 6 is better than Wreck-It Ralph or Frozen because, again, I feel like both those movies had a lot more of an emotional depth to it. Even Wreck-It Ralph, that seemed fairly light, but really had some real emotional parts. I think this movie's fun and a movie that you're going to have fun with, but I don't think it's offering that emotional depth.
Fair enough. ChasingCinema.com/Big
Hero 6
for the full-on review. Now, Interstellar. All right.
Put on your seatbelts because I'm sure this is going to be a fun ride.
I need to see it again a few more times, but I guess the first thing I have to say is, damn, my non-smartness and not understanding the theory of relativity 100%. I know they explained it with the pen going through the paper and 2 sides, and outside of that, I need to understand it better, but man, what a ride that film was. What a ride that was. And Hans Zimmer's score, it was like full-blown organs going on the whole time, and I don't even know what to think, dude. I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed that film. I just didn't understand so many parts. I really need to watch it again and have a discussion with our crew, and hopefully they can put stuff in my head so I can understand it more in depth.
Are you saying you didn't love it?
No, I loved that film. That was awesome. That was an awesome...
Because you didn't say like I loved it. No, you were like I really liked it. You didn't say it. Okay.
It's because I'm confused because I don't understand the theory of relativity. But no, I loved the film. It was. I'm sure this is going to be peaking top 5 of 2014. I'm sure it's going to be after we really break down. But anyway, the movie was amazing. Jessica Chastain, old version was awesome. Young version was awesome. Matthew McConaughey, I mean, they called them the McConaissance. You know, it's. I mean, Alfred was awesome. Michael Caine was. I mean, I want a TARDIS. I want a TARDIS. I want one for myself. Like I think I enjoyed the movie so much. I don't know what to say. I enjoyed it so much. I loved it.
In comparison to Inception.
Inception.
That's what I said, right? No. Okay.
You know, I don't know. I need to watch it again. I know this movie was even more. You know, most films nowadays, they treat us, the audience, as we're stupid and they have to explain things. And I felt this film was the exact opposite. I needed you to explain it to me more. It's just a really smart. It's an incredibly smart film, I feel. I don't know how much of the relativity side, because I don't understand relativity is actual. I know it's all theory, but anyway, you know, I don't know how much of that's 100% logic. All I know is that movie was incredibly smart. That's all I know.
Okay, so Steven Spielberg is once famous quoted for saying, every time I go into the movies, it's magic, no matter what the movie's about. And I think any film lover will agree with that. Any movie you walk into, there's something magical about it. But there are those few occasions when you're sitting in a movie and you know what you're seeing is something marvelous. You know you're seeing something spectacular, and that's what I got from Interstellar. I honestly feel like Interstellar is a staple for the sci-fi genre. As we were talking, the sci-fi genre is having this huge comeback, and it is not playing around with gravity and movies like this. I mean, there's no way around it. A lot of people have been making the comparison of the 1960s Stanley Kubrick film 2001: A Space Odyssey, because that movie was out before we even made it to the moon, and it predicted how things were beyond belief. And this movie also, you know, with black holes, though we've never really have an understanding, it really makes a lot of bold predictions and theories. So visually, I mean, this movie's a marvel. You can't deny how amazingly spectacular this movie is. However, I think Interstellar definitely has a share of problems. The more I've talked about this with people that have seen the movie already, I think they take away that I didn't like the movie, and that's not true. I really did enjoy Interstellar, but I think that it does have some serious problems. However, my kind of confirmation of liking the movie is I think the visual aspect, the visual journey this movie takes you on is so unlike anything you've ever been, it's easier to overlook those flaws. However, but I feel like when the movie is, I feel like Christopher Nolan and his brother kind of really lacked in script here, and characters and development. I felt that he really wanted to cut corners with an emotional connection. I know you were saying a lot about how you wanted to understand this movie more and how you didn't want to understand relativity. I think Interstellar, though a brainy movie, just like Inception, just like everything else Nolan has done, really didn't want you to focus so much on that story. Where Inception, I felt like it was jamming that story down your throat. I wasn't a fan of Inception. However, this movie, I feel like he was like, you know, 3/4 of the movie, it's all about, you know, relativity, gravity, and all these things. However, we end up getting revealed that the theme is all about love. Yes. Love, 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 love. Some critics have really been turned off the fact the whole movie is about intellectual curiosity and trying to understand science in a more gradual way, and then ending all of that by just saying, oh, it's about love. I really enjoy the theme, however, I didn't like how the theme was presented. I mean, pretty much the theme of love is handed to us and in all honesty, kind of a campy dialogue line from Anne Hathaway. Now, just because Anne Hathaway is a great actress, she's able to make it a little bit less campy, but if you read that line on paper, it's not as powerful. And I feel like, unlike Nolan films, where it is very intellectual and very challenging and makes you figure out the themes and makes you question it, he kind of said, here you go, and I felt like he was so concentrated on space. Granted, I can't blame him because that movie was so spectacular visually. He really kind of lacked in the emotional department. I felt everything I saw in that movie I got emotional from was the visual. I mean, being able to hear this incredible score blasting our ears and our seats vibrating, and then cut to complete silence when we were in space. I appreciated that, and that got me emotional more than the characters. I think Matthew McConaughey was the only one that actually did a decent job in performance-wise. I felt everyone else did okay. I didn't think it was anything really noteworthy. I don't think this movie really was a performance movie at all. I think Matthew McConaughey had one really, really good scene, and that's when returning from a planet, and I think that was probably the best scene emotionally in the movie, but I definitely think that movie had a lot of problems with its characters and emotional connection.
I gotta watch it again. I really like. So, do you have any idea of how many stars?
Well, it's going to be in the very high range, but it won't be a 4.
Like, I don't even have anything to really say to you off what you said, just because I need to see it again. Like,
well, did you feel? I mean, what did you feel? Did you feel emotionally connected to the characters?
Yeah, I love. I mean, the last 2 minutes of the film for me, because my favorite movie is Titanic. So the last 2 minutes of that film, I was like, I love that. I love that that last 2 minutes segment.
I just feel like there was, I mean, to easily break down this movie, there was moments in space and there's moments on Earth. And the moments on space were a spectacle that is unmatched by any movie I've seen in a very, very long time. But the moments on Earth are kind of just an average movie.
Well, check out the full-on review at chasingcinema.com/Interstellar. And then we're gonna give I'm gonna see Big Hero 6, and then we're gonna do the podcast on Sunday, so check that out.
And we'll have and he'll see Interstellar again, so we can have a much more in-depth conversation.
Yeah, I need to see it again.
It'll probably be a very, very long review of us going back and forth, but I mean, we both agree we both enjoyed it.
Yeah,
more than an average movie.
It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. I loved it. It was an awesome film.
Go see this movie, and if you get a chance, go see it in IMAX. Go see it in a theater where, you know, your sheets are shaking, everything's huge. That's the best way to see this movie, because it's one you don't want to miss in theaters. Because once it's not in theaters, it's going to take away a lot of that amazement.
You know, like Stephen Hawking always talks about black holes and stuff like that. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things he says that is like on planet Earth, if we as humans can't get along, if we can't get past like war and stuff. I mean, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not him, but he basically says if we can't even get along here, we're never us as a race, humans, we're never going to be able to even survive anyways, because we're not supposed to be on Earth, is basically what he was saying also. Yeah. And then so this movie really for me was just like, and then that last 2 minutes I was like, yeah, that's, I don't know, it's awesome.
Again, no, I agree with you. I think the themes, what this movie was saying, I really got, and I really connect, and I really could stand behind. It was just how the theme was presented that I was like, whoa, that was kind of like really just silver plated to us, and I didn't really necessarily appreciate that. But I think the movie does have beautiful themes. It has a lot to say, and I was really glad that Nolan was like, listen to what I have to say rather than concentrate on the story. Don't worry so much about what's going on and trying to figure everything out, but listen to what I'm saying. And I think that was his problem with Inception, so I was glad that he did that in this movie. But again, more for the review.
Yeah, and then we'll be back, and then Sunday, 7 days from today, we're watching,
I think it's...
I know, Foxcatcher. I'm watching Foxcatcher over the other one.
It's horrible. No, isn't actually
Dumb and Dumber 2. Dumb and Dumber 2 and Foxcatcher. I'm watching Foxcatcher instead of that. So we'll be back, guys, 7 days. Thank you, everybody, and we'll hear you guys Sunday on the podcast.